Hi, my Year 9 students. So before we do the cap, there's one topic that I need to cover with you, that need to go through with you before the cap. That is the length of a line segment. So what I suggest you to do now is write the formula of the length of a line segment. Write it down to your notebook or cheat sheet. Okay, now I'll explain it to you what it is. So for example, if you're given 2 points, -3, 2 and -1, 5, which is I graph it on the plan here, and they ask you to find the length. So they ask you to find how long is this line here, connecting these 2 points, -3, 2 and -1, 5. So as you have a look on our booklet, you can see that these 2 points here connecting it to each other, and you can form a triangle connecting it. And you can see from horizontally there are 2 units, from -1, -3 to -1, there's 2 units, and from here to here would be 3. So let me connecting the line to show you. Give me 1 second. So you can see when you're connecting the line all the way and all the way down, there it will form a triangle with the unit. So from -3 to -1, it gone to how many units? 1, 2 units. So it means here will be 2. And how about vertical length? It's gonna be from 5 to 2. That would be 3. Okay. Now remember Pythagoras theorem. If you got a right triangle, you see this is a right triangle. And alright, so if you want to look for the length, if you got a right triangle, you need to look for this length. They given the other measurement of the sides 2 and 3. You can always look for the hypotenuse length by using Pythagoras theorem. I'm just explaining to you. You don't have to remember all of this. I'm just explaining how we get into the formula, but just bear with me. So Pythagoras theorem say that you got the opposite side to the right angle would be c squared equal to the other side length square plus each other. Yeah, and in order to look for c, you square root it under the square root. Then you can look for the c, which is 9 plus 4 is c will be equal to square root of 13. How do we get from here? So we know that the length, so now we can know that the length of the line connecting these 2 points, this part will be square root of 13. Okay, so how do we get from here to this formula? Do you see? It is based on this. So let me show you. If you got -3, 2 and -1, 5, class, in the cat, I only want you to remember and know how, you don't have to remember, write this one down onto your notebook. So what would you do is apply this formula for me. So the length will be equal to square root of x2 minus x1 square plus y2 minus y1 all together square, and then under the square root. Yeah, just copy this down. All right, my second step will be, the question asked me what? The question asked me to find the length of the line connecting these 2 points. I just need to move this away. Connecting these 2 points. So my next step will be labeling. So x1, y1, x2, y2. Okay, and then apply, and then put them into the formula. Square root of x2 is -1 minus x1, which is -3, all together square plus What is my y2 here? Y2 is 5. And what is my y1? Y1 is 2 altogether to the power of 2 square root. So the length will be equal to square root of, now we'll work it out. So -1 minus and minus 3 will become -1 plus 3. -1 plus 3 is 2. Give me one sec. So this is 5, take away 2 is 3. Square. The length would be square root of 2 squared plus 3 squared. Do you see it's the same? Do you see this? It's the same thing. This formula, it just we got this formula from the Pythagoras theorem. So whenever you see they ask you for the length of a line segment, just remember this formula and apply it. Label the points, apply it straight into the formula, and then you get the answer straight as when you draw out the triangle. So the length would be square root of 13. Okay, all right, let me go through one example with you so that let's see. Sorry, I need to turn the page. Okay, right, let's go with this one. Calculate the length of a line segment joining each pair of the points here. Let's pick question A. How do you find the length of a line segment of the point length of the line joining these 2 points? Can you see? Okay. My first step is I'm going to refer to the formula, which you should already have in your notebook. So the length will be equal to, let me rewrite it down. Length will be equal to square root of x2 minus x1 square plus y2 minus y1 altogether square, and then under the square root. You better have a ruler here. Alright, so what would I do next? I would label x1, y1, x2, and y2. Okay, so after I label, I sub it in. Square root of x2 is 3. X2 is 3 minus x1 is 2 square root plus y2 is 7 minus y1 is 3 altogether to the power of 2. Alright, then this is square root, class. Alright, 3 minus 2 is 1, and plus 7 minus 3 is 4 square, equal to 1 plus with 4 to the power of 2 is 16. So in this case we got square root 17. So the length that join these 2 points here will have the line that join these 2 points here will have the length of square root of 17. Now I want you to do some practice for E.2 question 3. Maybe do 3 more questions on this. Okay, good luck in your